What's up, everyone? It's part two of painting the tractor fenders and some of the sheet metal on the Ford 860 tractor. Last video I did the priming, and I said right at the end of the video that it was the worst paint job I ever did, and it absolutely was. It came out horrible. I was using old paint, so it had a lot of dried paint material in it, and I hadn't bought filters because I thought the paint gun came with like a handful of filters, because I think the last time I bought one it did. So I had no filter, so the paint gun kept clogging and it wasn't feeding well. So then I thinned my paint more, and then when I realized why it was clogging, the paint was too thin. So it was an absolute disaster. But the paint did dry. The prime came out pretty good. I just knocked it down with 120 grit sandpaper just to rescuff it, because it's been almost 3 weeks since I painted that stuff, because it's been way too cold in New England to paint. Today, the parts are laying in the driveway on some sheet plastic. I'm gonna set the camera up on time lapse and just record painting the stuff blue. I kinda gotta paint in between when it's really windy. The mixing procedure for this paint is pretty much gonna be the same as the primer was. It's the same brand paint, and it's the same type of paint. So I'll thin it with paint thinner or some type of, I got some different type of reducer thinner to try this time. That paint thinner was really slow, but it's New Holland blue, so it should look pretty good. It matches the other paint that I've already put on the tractor over the last couple years. If you buy paint from a paint store, they usually have a matched reducer that works with that paint, and it'll just say paint reducer, and it'll have the same label as whatever paint. I don't have any paint reducer for this paint I have, so there are a bunch of different chemicals that you can use to reduce paint. MEK, toluene, xylene, turpentine, naphtha, they're all different types of that you can use. Paint thinner, mineral spirits, boiled linseed oil, regular linseed oil, all of those products can be used to thin or reduce oil-based paints. So the problem is things like MEK, toluene, xylene, turpentine, they all are very hazardous to your lungs and to the environment. So this stuff, this Painter Sullivan, is supposed to be a replacement for all those. I don't know. It doesn't say you can use it as a reducer, but I'm going to try to use it as a reducer today. Paint thinner is very slow, in my opinion, when it comes to oil-based paints. It takes a long time to flash off. Even with the Japan dryer, the last stuff took forever. So I'm going to thin with this Painter Sullivan. I'm going to add Japan dryer like I did last time. So I really wanted turpentine. This says it replaces turpentine, so I'm going to try it. Hopefully it works. I don't want to use paint thinner again. It took almost 3 days for those parts to dry last time, and that's too long. I can't have parts wet for 3 days because my kids and the dog will come out and touch them, and they'll just get all messed up. So I'm going to try this stuff. Hopefully it works. So these are parts you can see the sanding marks, but what I gotta do is it's still got dust on it. I gotta get some acetone and wipe all this down, and then it'll be ready to paint. But sanding it knocked off a lot of the issues that I had with the original coat of primer when I put it on. Just wipe this down with some acetone, get all the dust off, and it'll be ready to paint. So I mentioned last time that the gun kept clogging. This paint gun comes with a little filter, and then it goes underneath and the cup holds it in. So the only way to get it out is to take the cup off, and then when it's full of paint, it's an absolute mess, because you got to dump the paint back out, take that out. So that's what happened to me last time. So this right here is a paper mesh filter for straining paint. So anytime you're going to paint with a gun or spray, you need one. There's the paint. Got basically a full cup of paint. Probably top it off. Paint's mixed. Air compressor's full of air. I got the guns all ready, filled with paint. The parts, I wiped them down with acetone, so everything's ready to paint. I'm just gonna put the camera on time lapse out there and just go to work. Parts are all painted. The paint gun is clean, so it's probably been about 15 minutes since I sprayed them. So far that painter solvent has flashed off really fast, and the parts are just a little bit tacky still, so I think that stuff's gonna work good. I think the Japan dryer really helped, and being out in the sun really helped. So hopefully by tomorrow those things are dry and I can start putting them back on the tractor.